Hi, welcome back to Care Hoax. I'm Janet Cimorelli. I'm here today with Dr. Herb Slavin, as usual. And just as part of introductory week here on Care Hoax videos, I want to share with you that every week we'll be going through different topics and giving you the kind of information about the causes, the solutions, the testing, everything you need to know step by step in order to have a successful outcome with regard to your health, supporting your health rather than pharmaceutically manipulating your body, which doesn't necessarily translate to good health. So one of the topics the topic for today is solutions, and keeping in mind that so many different solutions exist out there. And I will use just a very simple example. One of our associates was dealing with a cough. The cough was medicated by the doctor and it got better, but it was still there. Then, okay, well, here's a natural substance that you can use that's going to work on suppressing the cough. And when you suppress the cough, you think, okay, I'm over it. But then the decision was made, no, I didn't really want to use that particular product. And so someone made the suggestion of just drinking warm water. That was a solution. The cough is gone. So there's an indication that sometimes your body doesn't necessarily want a pharmaceutical, an over-the-counter solution, something that's going to suppress the symptom. Sometimes your body just wants comfort. Dr. Slavin?
A good way for all of us to think about health and what undermines it is to think about our immune system, because that really controls everything. And things that undermine our immune system are going to predispose us to getting various illnesses. So you have to think, if you catch a cold, what did you do that might have weakened your immune system to allow that to happen? And there are a lot of things we do that may weaken the immune system. On the other hand, there's a lot of things we can do to strengthen our immune system.
Okay, did I catch a virus? The virus overwhelmed me because my immune system was low, or the virus overwhelmed me because it was such an incredibly strong virus?
No, the virus was already there.
Okay.
Your immune system allowed it to become active.
Aha.
So we have to think in those terms. And just think about it. You get off an airplane and you catch a cold. Not everybody on an airplane caught a cold, but for some reason your immune system was a little bit weaker and allowed that virus to become active.
Some of the people got on the airplane with the cold and spread it around.
Well, but not everybody gets sick.
True.
You know, the story I like to talk about is my father. He had a couple brothers, a sister. I'm sure they lived in a small house back in the 1920s and 30s and 40s in Manhattan. And he said he shared the bed with my uncle, his brother. His brother developed polio. My father never got polio. So why was that? You see, I mean, we don't give enough credit to keeping our immune system strong and avoiding illness. Instead, they want to vaccinate everybody against polio instead of saying, maybe there's a better way, keep your immune system strong. And over the weeks, and we'll talk about ways to do that.
So that brings me in the area of solutions, Dr. Slavin. When you said vaccinate everybody, I'm thinking about adding fluoride to the water. Our solution to dental cavities is add fluoride to the water. So we are mass medicating everyone regardless of whether they take very good care of their teeth, they have strong teeth, weak teeth, whatever, and that fluoride actually has negatives as well as certain positives. There are ways to use it that it becomes a positive solution. There are ways to use it when it is actually a danger for older individuals.
Well, I can't think of any positives for fluoride. And we talked earlier
Ways
about,
of using it.
can't think of any positives.
Okay.
Well, you talk, maybe
A
in,
dental application for
Maybe
children
it's safer.
under the age of 12, once a year.
all right, probably not often enough to cause harm. But they did studies comparing the incidence of dental cavities in towns or cities that didn't fluoridate the water versus other towns that did fluoridate the water. They didn't see a big difference. So you have
There
to
was no benefit truly after those tests.
So what are they really using fluoride for? It's to dispose of an industrial waste product. And they said, boy, we can, not only don't we have to pay for the waste to be disposed of, we're gonna make money disposing of this waste in the water systems. That's what really fluoride was about. Now, we talked earlier about thyroid disease.
Right.
Now, here's something that I think everybody must have been exposed to at some time, because even in high school, you're gonna hear about, we'll learn about the periodic table of the elements. All right, Janet, we left off, we were just starting to talk about the periodic table of the elements. We were talking about fluoride, and you were promoting it for
I wasn't
treatment of dental
promoting it.
cavities.
I was saying that as a once-a-year topical application for children under the age of 12, that it did help to prevent dental cavities. And didn't seem to have any negative associations. Over the age of 12, particularly for boys, they had a greater risk of leg fracture, which is a pretty weird situation when you think, okay, fluoride treatment, leg fracture, who knew? But then for seniors, putting the fluoride in the water, greater risk of hip fracture. So I'm certainly against fluoridation in the water, but a personal choice for the parents with regard to a topical application once a year.
And of course, those children under 12 don't swallow the fluoride that they put in the mouth once a year. Maybe it doesn't have that much effect. But other effects of fluoride are dental fluorosis. It can stain the teeth. You mentioned effects on the skeletal bones, the long bones.
Integrity, yeah.
But I think the biggest effect that we need to be aware of is its effect on the thyroid gland. Now, in order to understand this, you have to understand that the element that the thyroid gland uses is iodine. That's the essential element for the thyroid gland. And fluoride will compete with it. Now, I'm going to go to the periodic table of the elements, because up until now you probably never had a good use for it.
That's true.
So now we're going to show you why you learned about it in high school.
And I'm going to step out of the picture so you
Oh,
can
it's
have
all on my own? So this is the periodic table of the elements, and we're going to try and zoom in on the halogen column. The halogen column starts off with fluoride at the top. Then underneath you have chloride, then bromine, and then iodine. So the reason this is important to understand is all the elements above iodine, so you have the fluoride, the chlorine, and bromine, will displace iodine in your diet. So if you're consuming a lot of fluoride, chlorine, or bromine, and clearly you are in the water, the fluoride, in the chlorine in the water, bromine, if you're getting brominated flour, and I'm sure it's found in other foods. Janet, maybe you can help me out here. Bromine anywhere else?
not
Besides
that,
brominated flour?
yeah, not that I know of. I don't
So
know.
all those elements are going to displace the iodine. So it's very likely that a lot of people have an iodine deficiency brought on by exposure to these other halogens that you notice on the table of the elements. So I think that's something to be aware of. So another reason not to drink tap water.
I think that there are a lot of people out there saying, oh, well, I don't have any exposure or very much exposure to chlorine or fluoride, but the truth of the matter is you're most likely showering in chlorinated water, you're inhaling it, the chlorine is passing through the pores of your skin in a hot shower. So the fluoride in the toothpaste, unless you're purchasing your toothpaste at a health food store, you're getting fluoride in the toothpaste.
And it's really more than that. What about all the foods you eat? The produce, the animal products. Were those animals drinking fluoridated, chlorinated water? Were those fields watered with chlorinated water? I mean, they might be using well water, but maybe not. So, just a thought that this is probably a very prevalent problem that very little is being addressed to. Now, here's why it becomes particularly important to understand, because the people that have a dysfunctional thyroid gland will still show up with normal thyroid hormone levels in the blood.
And why is that, Dr. Slavin?
Well, the gland is still making a hormone, but instead of iodine as the center of the hormone, it may have fluorine or chlorine, or a combination of, so they can make the hormone, the tests measure it out, but it's not working well. That's why you can see people with what appears to be thyroid hormone resistance.
Wow.
The blood tests look fine, but they have all the symptoms of lack of thyroid hormone. I think we mentioned earlier about the basal body temperature, something you can check on your own. Your basal body temperature is your temperature first thing in the morning when before you get out of bed. You can check it, and it's normally lower, but it shouldn't be lower than about 97.6. We like to say that a normal temperature is 98.6 during the day. So you don't really want to be below 97.6 basal body temperature, and I see a lot of people way lower than that.
It's very interesting that there are so many different details about keeping your entire body healthy. We mentioned thyroid, but there are, in addition, many, many more aspects. And so that's what we're attempting to bring to you, the kind of information about how mainstream medicine is unfortunately leading you down a path that makes you think that a pharmaceutical can be the solution to your health challenge. But the truth of the matter is it's much more complicated than a pharmaceutical. It certainly does have to do with environmental exposures, exposures in your water. It has to do with your nutrition status, your lifestyle. And here on Healthcare Hoax, we're going to give you the kind of information you need so that you don't necessarily feel without the proper tools to keep yourself healthy. Every week we will be bringing you 5 days of information. We will introduce a topic, talk about the causes, talk about solutions, talk about everything you need to know in order to address that approach in a holistic way. We hope that you subscribe to Healthcare Hoax videos and certainly share the information about these videos with your family and friends. Thanks for tuning in.